Hey there, sheepdoggers, and welcome to another tip video. Tactics and so forth. We're going to be doing the Bretonnians. And my Bretonnian team is called Kneel Before Zod. So yeah, we're going to have a quick talk about the lineup and everything. So we'll do the standard thing. Let me just pull up a team. Okay, so obviously I want a little bit more time to work on the Wood Elves and Lizardmen before I start doing my tips and strategy. I haven't played them that much, so I'm still getting into it. Although my Wood Elf team did win 4-0 in the only match I've played with them so far, so yeah. So you can see strengths, low-priced linemen. This team is comfortable with brawling. Blitzers can handle the game almost by themselves. They're expensive and necessary, which is the blitzers. Bit frail when playing against bashy teams. They're not made for agility. So basically, they're kind of the epitome of not all-rounders. You know, you have to level them up and kind of specialize them, I guess, and you have to rely on your blitzers very heavily, it is true. So we'll just go with la 3 GQQ, yep, fee hee hee, There we go, let's make the team. It will be called Wafwa. Okay, so my, again, they're 3 agility team. I advise 3 rerolls and an apothecary. Now, the reason I advise an apothecary is because you're going to be getting your most important players. They cost 110,000. And these guys are 70,000. Now, the linemen are really, really cheap. You should never ever use an apothecary on them, unless it is literally the last action of the turn, or of the game, and you haven't used your apothecary yet, and he, like, dies. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll just use it, because I may as well. But you want to be saving it for your blitzers. Now, what you want is you want 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There you go, 11. So you have no spare. But, I mean, you could do away with a reroll, which I wouldn't advise because, obviously, you know, you're a 3 agility team. You're not going to be able to pick up the ball. And also, your linemen are 2 agility, 6 movement. You can see here you've got block, dauntless, catch. With the blockers, you've got wrestle. So, starting off, well, we'll get into the tactics of what you want to do. But you can see you've got 8 armor value on your blockers, 8 armor value on your blitzers. Very expensive, but not that armored. And then you've got, yeah, these guys who are pretty much absolutely useless. So the lineup means you have 3 blitzers, you have 3 blockers, and then you just have the linemen to make up the rest. Now you're going to be throwing away your linemen very, very easily, so keep that in mind. Your blitzers have block, they have dauntless, they have catch, so they're very useful. They can bash, you know, they can take down big guys. They can catch, so you can use them to throw and catch. You know, you got reroll there. And they got blocks, so they can obviously ball carry and everything like that. Now, the blockers have wrestle, which means that on a both down, you can drop them and, you know, kind of, you can drop the opposing player and yourself, and you don't get a turnover. Very useful for finagling the ball. So, these guys are going to kind of be either getting in the way of the enemy, you know, stopping them from getting to your ball carrier, or they're going to be trying to get the ball for you so your blitzer can pick it up and score. So what you're going to have is these linemen are barely ever going to get any SPP. And yeah, I mean, look at him. Look at this dude. Look at him. He's not going to be doing much, is he? So yeah, that's the basics of the team. The apothecary, I feel, you know, you could get an extra lineman so that you don't get outnumbered, but do you really want to risk these guys, these expensive nobles who are awesome, compared to getting an extra one of these douchebags? No, you don't. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Bretonnians. As you know, I think it's fairly simple. That's what I'd advise as a lineup. Now let's have a little look at Kneel Before Zod. So I actually want to put this match up on YouTube because it was the most amazing match. It was Bretonnians versus versus it was Bretonnians versus Lizardmen, and by the time we got to second half, I had, I think, 6 people injured, 1 knocked out at the start of the second half, and I still won 1-0. So look out for that match. It will be coming very soon, possibly tomorrow even, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So what have we got here? We've got us versus the Beastmen. That could be a good example. We've got, I think yeah, that's an alright example. And then we've got Bretonnians. Okay, we've got Bretonnians versus Bretonnians. 1 touchdown each. I think that'll do. Okay, so let's watch this one. This was my first Bretonnian match as well. So it'll give you a good idea. And, you know, on the other ones, I'm kind of fighting bashy teams and everything. It may help you a little bit more, but I feel like I can talk about both, you know, both sides of the Bretonnians while we're watching this match, which is quite good. Okay, let's get through the beginnings, and let's watch this match. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold, and I'm, you know, my sleeping's not been brilliant, so I'm a little bit head clogged. Okay, so we are defending. Which means, of course, especially with a team like this, all you do is you put 3 of these losers on the front line. Now, what you want to be doing is you want to be kind of trying to get the ball to your blitzers. You want to be using your blockers to stop the big guys and the bashy guys getting to your blitzers. You just kind of want to be protecting everyone that isn't a peasant. So these linemen are, you know, they have fend. They're very useful. But at the same time, they're very, very disposable. So while they're useful because you can sacrifice them, they're disposable because you can sacrifice them. You can just be like, yep, he can die, that's fine. And the thing I found with the Bretonnian team is almost a little bit like a Skaven team. You can get by with fewer players. You really can get by with fewer players. So, you know, that's something that you're going to have to get into your brain space, is, you know, kind of like losing your players isn't the worst thing. You know, as long as you protect your blitzers, losing your players isn't the worst thing. And yeah, after this match, I actually got a +1 strength on Smokey McP, I think. Oh no, sorry, it was on Roguelark. I got a +1 strength. So let's move forward a little bit. There we go. So you can see we smacked about a bit, and he got the ball, runs it round. We're playing against Durno here. And yeah, it was a fairly unlucky, well, I'm not going to say unlucky, but I had a fairly good time of it, to be honest. So still going turn 1. A little bit of a blitz. I'd say again, you know, they are called blitzers, but I'd advise you to always be using your blitzers to blitz unless circumstances demand otherwise. And this looks like it's getting a bit of cage going up, or a screen. Okay, I guess you'd call that a screen. Now, this kind of screen. Okay, there we go. There's a bit of a cage going on. Now, I'd advise you when you, especially when you're playing against teams like elves, you don't want to be just screening. So a screen is kind of like having this here in kind of a right angle. You know, the elves can just bust through that. They can dodge through that. You know, you definitely want to be surrounding your ball carrier so that they can't just blitz your ball carrier, because they'll take a skill like wrestle, they'll take, you know, other skills, and it'll definitely get to the point where you just where you're just getting the ball taken away from you all the time. You know, the thing that you always have to remember about the things that you always have to remember. Oh, here we go. A little bit of a crowd surf right there. I mean, he's only got 7 armor value, but getting a player off the pitch early in a turn is never a bad thing. So, and again, as I said, blitz or blitzers. And again, you know, for the enemy team, the linemen you have are armor value 7, and especially against a bashy team, even against an elf team, they're going to be such a tempting target. So, you know, for example, there I used my blitz on that guy instead of on the cage. You know, I could have maybe blitzed the cage, could have done something better or different to get the ball. But I was tempted by that lineman there, and it was a good play, like moving him out like that. Less good moving the lineman over to the other side because I crowd surfed him, but still, you know, you don't want to let your guys get crowd surfed if you can. And I'm gonna let you guys into an interesting secret. So, I have played a lot of Blood Bowl. I have a decent knowledge, I'd say, of Blood Bowl. And the funny thing about... Well, the really funny thing about me doing these tips and everything is now in the league, there are so many people saying to me, like, oh, dude, thank you so much for your tips. Like, it's really helped me get to grips with my team and, you know, get better And the hilarious thing is, I'm now getting my arse kicked on a regular basis by all of these people who are like, "Oh, Sheep, I really enjoyed your tactics videos, and you know they really helped me, and I know how to play the game better." And I'm like, maybe I should stop doing these tactics and tips videos because either everyone has figured out how to beat me from them, or I'm just literally that good that I can I'm just literally that good that I can make people much better than me at the game. And those of you who watch my videos, my Blood Bowl videos, especially on a regular basis, will know that I'm a little bit unlucky at times. Now this isn't one of those times, but there are many. That was unlucky for him. What was that? Was that a blitzer? Yeah, so losing one of your blitzers like that is not something you want to happen. Again, you know, you don't want to waste... He didn't actually have an apothecary. I think he got an... Did he get... Yeah, he got an extra lineman instead. But, you know, the loss of that blitzer is a big hit. You know, you prefer to lose a lineman or something. Pretty much unlucky, you know, you have to live with that kind of bad luck, basically, but... So yeah, I've got pretty bad luck as these things go, and and yeah, okay, so you see standard blitz, and then you can kind of carry on, keep running for the touchdown line. I don't know, did he score it? He did. He did. Looking up his mask. Nice touchdown, Durno. So yeah, you know, with the Bretonnians, it's always gonna hurt losing your blitzers. You can have a 4 maximum, and you know, obviously, if you do buy the apothecary, if you do buy the rerolls, you're going to want to the next buy you're going to want to get is another blitzer. You know, you have, and I'd advise even maybe having blitzers specialized in certain things. So I have a blitzer with 4 strength. He's going to be specialized in bashing, basically. You know, I'm gonna be using him to either go after the ball carrier or go after specialized targets. So you know, mighty blows a thing. And the thing about I'm pretty sure that the blockers get, I think they get strength, and I'd have to look this up, so don't quote me, but I think they get, for level ups, strength and general, or maybe just general. I'm pretty sure the linemen only get general, and the blitzers get passing and general. So you know, like without doubles, without you know the stat ups, I think they can be very difficult to level up, to be honest. But there you go. You know, they're a very different team. They're a very interesting team, I found. So. let's just speed this up a little bit. So there we go. You see, standard kind of thing. I've been smacked. Okay, is that? Yeah, this is my turn. So I've been smacking their team a little bit. He got a turn 3 touchdown, which is actually really nice. Like, you know, well played Durno and well played Bretonnians. And you can see I did my smash in. I kind of caged up as best I could, and then I went and picked up the ball last, kept my rerolls. Sorry. So, as far as skills go, I'm still kind of learning what I think I'd want to, you know, what I think I need to do. I think probably blockers, if you can, you're going to want to be going blitz. You're going to be want to go block. If you can, again, probably dodge would be a decent choice, but I think he was angry about me entering his blitzer at that point. He also maybe wanted to take out one of my blockers, which is fair enough. And again, you know, with these linemen, you know, taking block is not a terrible idea. But again, at the end of the day, like, you know, they probably should be used. You can give them like dirty player, things like that. You know, that are going to help them foul. You know, things that are going to help them, like help your team, like kick. You know, you don't particularly want to be making them that much better. You know, aside from maybe block for the front line so that they don't die quite as much. You're not going to be wanting to improve them because they're so crap. It's worth concentrating on improving your other guys. You know, maybe a little bit of improvement if you can. But for example, if you get doubles, you probably don't want to give them dodge because they're not going to be dodging. You know, if they get a stat up, then that's kind of probably annoying. Like, if they get agility, it's like, do I really want to give them agility when I can give them maybe something else? And you wouldn't be wrong to go for maybe a double instead, or I think maybe agility is 11 actually. But you wouldn't be wrong in giving them something else instead, to be honest. And yeah, you can see, like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm picking a side, I'm going to try and punch through and get through like that. So yeah, I enjoy, there's something very entertaining about the Bretonnians because of the peasants. You know, while I was, this was obviously during stream, while I was streaming this, I was shouting at the peasants, you know, I was saying, you know, kind of having fun with it, basically saying, you know, we're gonna have you executed for not protecting the knights and all this kind of thing. You know, like, sacrifice yourself for the lords. And if you take that attitude into the game, you know, especially if you're a Skaven player, it can be so satisfying to have decent players and then just have these guys who don't give a crap about. You know, that's almost what the deal with the Bretonnians are. You know, like, you've got these kind of serfs, these peasants who've been chucked up on the line. They probably know nothing about football. You know, nothing about Blood Bowl. They just got chucked in there because the Lord wanted to play some football, and they just blindly obey, basically. And it's quite entertaining to see. So yeah, basically what I wanted to do there was blitz and then get that guy on this other side so I could, you know, knock that dude down, be able to move my blitz, the guy who blitzed, and create a cage on the other side. Obviously that didn't work the way I wanted, and then I got a turnover. Well, what are you gonna do? And you can see he's got his two guys over there. My guy's getting bashed a little bit, and the thing is it's very even right now. You know, even if I don't score this turn, I'm receiving next turn. You know, I've got the chance. I'd say as Bretonnians, you probably, if you can, you probably want to take the first kickoff, just purely because if you let a bashy team get rolling, it can be bad for you. And it's the same with most agility teams. You know, as a bashy team. As a bashy team versus anyone but another bashy team, I tend to let them go first because it gives me time to bash them, you know, as they're trying to, like, get through my defenses, and I can take it kind of easy. As a bashy team, getting the ball first, you're pressured into trying to work the ball more than working There we go. You're pressured into trying to work the ball more than hitting the team. I think that can really screw you over. There goes Soap On. Soap On. Played against Soap On quite a few times. Had some good games. You know, there's a very fun element in Blood Bowl, playing against people in the chat, and you know, having a chat with them while you're playing and that kind of thing. And when you see the Bretonnian game versus the Lizardsmen, like, everyone in the chat went nuts when it happened, and you'll see what I mean. Again, I don't want to spoil it because you really should watch it, but it is honestly a great match, and it's completely worth watching. I'm not just saying that because I'm putting it up on YouTube and everything. It is 100% worth bloody watching. It's such a good game. And there you go, we're blitzing with our ball carrier. Again, you know, blitzing with a blitzer, decent choice. I don't really have that far to go, so, and I don't want to risk the turnover and second touchdown. So I'm kind of, again, I've got 3 turns left, so I may as well reroll that, otherwise the reroll's actually wasted. You know, if you get to turn 6 with 3, if you get to turn 6 with 3 rerolls, and you get a double skull or something like that, and you're thinking, well, it's close to the end of the turn, I've only got a few more things to do. You know, even if it's the last move of the turn, you have 3 rerolls, you can use 1 a turn, you may as well use it at the end of the day. You know, you might get a knockdown and an injury, it'll help you for the rest of the game, you know, like, reduces numbers. So, you know, regardless of what it is, if you have, you know, 4 turns left and 4 rerolls, if you're about to have a turnover, you may as well reroll, you know, whatever it is. Because otherwise, you know, you're just going to have leftover rerolls by the time the turn ends. And for those of you who may not know or may not, who aren't sure, the wrestle skill it gives you a choice to use the wrestle skill or not. So if you have block, you can just not use the wrestle skill, and it will still use your block. So you can still use block with wrestle. So, you know, for example, if you're going after a block character who has the ball, you can charge your guy in. He has block, you have block. You can charge your guy in, and you can quite literally choose to use wrestle to bring him and the ball down. So keep that in mind. And you see here, I'm trying to make a little space so that I can go through. I forget that he has fend, and I screw myself up a little bit. So, the tactic he should have right now is blitzing that blocker up there, because I want to be using him to get a touchdown. Let's see if we can... I can't remember if he can actually make it or not. I think he can. If it would just let me show the... There you go. I think... Does he get... Yeah, he knocks him down, so I think that's me not able to make a touchdown. So, you know, if he wants to win the game, he can go... You know, he can go bashy if he likes, but the easiest way to ensure that he stays at 1-0 is to bash my dude down. And that's alright, cool. You know. No question. Because now I only have 1 turn left, and, well, I can't get a touchdown. Even if I wanted to. And, you know, at this point, he's got a reroll. He may as well do the single dices. If it fails, he can knock a few people down. Maybe get an injury, you never know. My injury rating at the moment is very low. Like, I'm getting a lot of knockdowns. I'm getting a fair number of armor breaks and stuff, but I'm just not getting anything really at all. And here we go is another... I didn't actually need to pass that to him. Just FYI. My front line... I think it's actually front linear. But yeah, he got killed. Bit unfortunate for him. You know, they're linemen. They cost 40,000. You know, and you know, you're gonna get mercenaries anyway, like replacements if you can't replace them. As long as you're not losing your blockers and your blitzers, getting a dead lineman is, you know, you don't need to worry about that really. Not for the team. So yeah, that's something to consider when playing. I can't remember, because I'm pretty sure I got 2 kills on this, and I know he doesn't have an apothecary. Now, I can't remember if I did kill one of his blitzers or not. I think it may have been a blocker. But even still, that's 17,000, you know, that's not great. It may have been another, there we go. There we go. It may have been another, another lineman, possibly. But, you know, it's... chucking a lineman off the pitch in that situation was more like he's winning and I'm going to be a bit of a dick. I didn't know I was going to kill him, but the fact of the matter is, you know, it wasn't so much to get people off the pitch, because it was the end of the half anyway. And, you know, unless they were knocked out or injured, they were coming back on. So, there we go. Milk for Zord gets an extra reroll. I managed to get the ball straight onto my blitzer. And I'd say in the first game, if you can get 2 touchdowns, try and get it on the same blitzer. You know, if you can get a touchdown on the same blitzer, it's actually a really good idea, because you can very quite literally just level up one guy after the first match. Very useful. And again, I'd say in a cage, probably the best choice, until you've started leveling them up and that kind of thing, probably the best choice to go for is to... and I did both down, got a KO, well done. His name's actually in my chat. His username is Captain Leclerc, but because he was going to be a lineman, I decided to demote him, because that's what I'm like. So yeah, you can see, you know, pretty standard cage, and I did. Oh, there goes Winter K. Thank you for your participation. Always getting injured, that dude. Always getting injured. But you can see, yeah, I've got a blocker and I've got a lineman on this front here. I'd advise on the front of your cage a lineman. On the put your blitzers on the back if you like, but until they've been specialized, the back is less likely to get blitzed or blocked. So those linemen on the front are actually kind of useful. Just purely because, well, you know, they've got fend. So they've got, you know, if they get in and start trying to break your cage, they can't actually follow it up unless they blitz. So I'm not saying it's going to waste a blitz, but in essence, it can slightly waste a blitz. And you see, again, he's using his lineman to take up my blitzers, you know, so that my ball carrier is slightly out of it. Oh yeah, we did kill another lineman. There he is. He's dead. See you later. And you know, like, I'm not saying, of course, I'm not saying that your blitzers are definitely going to die, but it could have easily have been his blitzer. So the fact that he's lost 2 people dead, you know, it's not great. It's a little disheartening when it happens to you. But, you know, for this team, for the Bretonnians, the nice thing about them, almost, is that you don't have to care. You don't have to care about losing 2 linemen in a game. You know, he's winning 1-0, yes, he's players down, but at the end of the day, he's still, he's still 1-0 up, and he's only lost 2 linemen who cost 40,000. That's cheap as a goblin, you know. Life is cheap, guys. Life is cheap. So if you can just keep, you know, slowing me down and all that kind of stuff, you should be fine. And, you know, kind of, it's difficult to talk about a team. You know, like, I enjoy the team, but I haven't played them as much. You know, I've played a lot of Blood Bowl 1, but they weren't in Blood Bowl 1. You know, I've played a lot of Blood Bowl, but this is a new team which I'm not 100% familiar with. I'm not totally, you know, up to speed with. So I could, you know, on all the other teams, I've at least faced one a lot of times, so I can tell you, you know, my opinions on them, you know, all that kind of thing. With this team, I've barely faced them. You know, I've played a few games against them, and that's pretty much it. Although I will say, crowd surfing his dude is not a bad idea. Getting a lot of pushes. So yeah, crowd surfing that guy would not have been a terrible idea. With my blitzer. However, he's carrying the ball. I don't particularly want to use a reroll. I could have done it, but I decided not to, for whatever reason. Down he goes, and he's got block. I've got reroll, so it's a valid tactic. 2-1 dice that. So you can see we're not getting very far. You can actually see how sticky the Bretonnian team is. Like, yes, he's lost people, but that's not a definite. You know, like, I'm having to spend my time actually pushing him off my players. You know, repeatedly just pushing them off my players. So I'm not actually getting anywhere. So with the Bretonnians, you know, of course, there's possibility of getting unlucky. You know, there's all this thing. But the linemen serve a very clear purpose. And that is, if you get that first touchdown, you can hold off. You can kind of hold them off from scoring their own touchdown, just by getting in their way and being kind of arses about it. And it's gonna force the players to make those kind of dangerous plays to get stuff done. That was a misclick, and of course I wouldn't re-roll that anyway. But yeah, you know, you can see here you've got we haven't moved for a couple of turns, and yeah, the Bretonnians are very sticky. They're not very durable. Like in a bashing match against a bashing team, they're gonna have trouble, especially as time goes on and they lose their linemen and you just have less people. But no, they're very useful, and they're very versatile in their own way. You just have to learn how to play them a bit more. You know, he's in no hurry to score more touchdowns, so he doesn't have to take risks. You know, at a certain point, I'm just going to have to go, well, for God's sake, I've got to do something here, don't I? And you can see, like, I was doing a 1 dice block there, I dodged over here, you know, I was getting a little bit desperate in what to do. Even though I've injured one of his guys and killed 2 of them. And again, you can see I was kind of hoping to keep my team fairly sticky themselves, and just rely on the fact that he wouldn't be able to finagle too many good blocks and things out of it. Down he goes. Gets a double dice. Unfortunately, I mean, he did have a reroll, but unfortunately, it didn't go off the first time. Therefore, he used his reroll up, and you know, the ball bounced over that way. You know, I'm not going to be trying to pick up the ball with my lineman, and he shouldn't try and pick up the ball with his either. And then there you go. So again, I'm probably gonna be forced into desperation plays, and you know, what I want to do here is obviously push, you know, take up that tackle zone, get a 2 dice, push this dude off the pitch, get him an injury roll, get another player off the pitch. You know, keep my numerical superiority as I've got time. I can't remember what he got. Did he get minus strength? No, he got no long term effect. But yeah, you know, one of the guys we pushed off got killed, another injured. You know, we've got 4 injuries in. Like, this became my tactic, was to basically injure them as much as possible. You know, free up my blitzers, get them rolling. Still got 3 rerolls, you know. I can afford to do a 1 dice block. I can afford to go after that ball. Try to dodge out, but again, reroll. Too easy to get a 2 dice there, so I wanted to get back in my defenses a little bit. And then, you know, may as well 1 dice if you can, why not? Knock another guy on the ground. So, you know, my numbers are starting to tell a little bit. You can see, like, obviously I've got 5 guys here to his kind of 1, 3 to his 5 guys here to his 5. But I've got a spare guy there. I've got 2 guys there, so it's going to be more difficult for him going forward. And again, there, like, he didn't really need to make that reroll. He could have taken them both down. And considering, you know, that he's going to be wanting to blitz, for example, here, you know, he doesn't want to skull. He doesn't. A push isn't too bad, but you know, I've still got 2 turns left. I have the opportunity to do better. And yeah, obviously I'm just going to try and knock this guy down. I think what he was trying to do was get it both down so he could take the ball off me, or possibly just get a hit so he could, you know, take the ball off me. Again, unfortunately, another injury. He got unlucky with his injuries comparative to me. You know, it doesn't always happen, and when you get it, you take it. So you can see he's got 5 people out. You'll see this quite often on a Bretonnian team. You know, same with the Skaven team. But again, you know, you can make it work. Well, work is an interesting term, but yeah, you can kind of make it work. Haven't used a reroll, but what I do want to do is take up his guys a little bit. And again, you know, if I get my blitzer, I think this is what I do. If I get my blitzer on this guy, he's not going to be wanting to dodge out. It is not what I do. I'm surprised, but we did kind of block him from an easy blitz on my guy. And you know, he did something similar. He decided to go for a 2 dice block, something I didn't really consider, but there you go. That's, however, unfortunate. His last reroll, he only gets a push. And if he follows up there, which of course he wants to because of the because of the situation and everything, I'd have a 2 dice block against him if it wasn't for the fact that he managed to get that guy out. And another injury there. Again, unfortunate. Like all of the injuries on his important players were no long-term effects, but he'd lost 2 people dead, so he was, you know, obviously feeling a bit like, well, I should re-roll this team. And no, absolutely not. Don't you dare re-roll this team when you only lose 2 linemen. You know, you got a touchdown. It was, as I remember, I did get this touchdown. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure I did get this touchdown. And it was a very fun and very difficult match to get a draw on, you know, so definitely don't roll the team in that situation where, you know, where you've lost a whole load of guys but you got a 1-all draw. So yeah. Like, I am aware that I'm not as tactical with the Bretonnians, but I'm still figuring out what makes them work, what makes them tick. You know, obviously, you want to be sacrificing your guys, your linemen. But aside from that, I'm not sure whether you should try and make them blitzy, you know, how you should spec them. They're a very unique team. They're a very, very fun team to play, but my advice would be, is get a team, don't care what happens to them, you know, treat it as fun instead of, and you can see how many of his players are out now. You know, it's his last turn. I can literally just line everyone up, not worry about touchdown, and just leave it like that. But yeah, I think it was this guy here had leveled up. Oh no, I think, yeah, I moved my blitzers back just because I didn't want them getting fouled by him. Which, you know, would be a valid tactic if he manages to kind of get them down and etc. Unlikely, but I didn't want to take the risk, even though I've got a apothecary. You know, sometimes you get a dead and you re-roll with apothecary and it still says dead. 2 deads is not good. And we get extra re-roll, etc. Yeah, you know. And that's game. Luckily he didn't die. But yeah, that's the Bretonnians, you know, like there's not that much I can really say more about them. They're a fun team, they're very unique. I'll show you my team roster. You see we've got a blitzer here with frenzy and strength. I decided to take frenzy because he's got dauntless, because he's got an extra strength, because he's got block and catch. You know, I figured being able to strength 4 frenzy someone off the pitch is probably not a bad idea. Now, I've also got another blitzer here who hasn't leveled up at all. I've got this guy Cabalvision who has, I believe, sure hands. Useful enough, you know, get that pickup, always useful. Then I have a blocker here with guard. I figure, you know, someone with wrestle, maybe I can get him something else. So let's see what the blockers do in fact get. Yeah, they get strength and general, so, you know, guard and that kind of thing. Going to be very useful for them, especially if you can make them sticky, you know, with doubles and dodge and stuff like that. The linemen, as you can see, they get just general. So, fend block, you know, block, kick, dirty player, that kind of thing is going to be what you're wanting to be going for. And then the blitzers, they get passing and general. So again, you know, sure hands, leader on one of them gets you a free reroll, that kind of thing. You're going to be wanting to go for that. So the next thing I'm going to be getting on my blitzer here is leader, so I get another reroll. You can see I've got 190,000. So I can buy another blitzer, I can buy a blocker as well. You know, I can fill out the rest of this team. I'm not going to do that right now, but it's something to consider. You know, I can get another reroll if I choose, but the rerolls are very expensive, and another reason why I advise you to get 3 rerolls early. So yeah, that's the Bretonnians. That's kneel before Zod. I feel like the High Elves and the Bretonnian tactics team video are going to be a little more lacking. I hope I can give you at least some idea of the starting lineup you might like, and maybe a few kind of thoughts going into your battles, into your matches. But the best thing I can say really to you guys is test it out, see what works, do your best, and just roll with the rolls, you know. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have good luck with your Bretonnian teams, and I'll see you in the next one.